Hey, so today we're going to be making a custom keychain for a client, and we're going to use our Sublimation printer along with our 4836 AP Laser to cut the template. Hey, I'm Rayanne, and I'm from Engraving. On this channel, we talk about lasers, crafting, and growing a business. We'll be back weekly with new videos on tips how to grow your business and your craft. So, if that's something you'd like to see, hit that subscribe button. Today, we're going to be focusing on how to make a custom keychain for a client. I'm going to be using the artwork that the client provided. I will prepare the photo, then I will show you how I size a template to cut on my AP Lazer 4836, and then I'll show you the process of sublimation. So let's head over to the computer and get that image ready for our printing. Okay, so I have my Sawgrass print utility open. This is the design space I use for my printer for sublimation. I already have the design put in here that was provided by our client for the Innu Midwifery program. It's actually a piece of art from one of her students. As you can see, this design is an oval shape. So that is what I am talking about when I say a custom keychain. I'm going to take this now and bring it into Lightburn. For now, I have this design put into Sawgrass as a 1.75 inch wide design because that's the size I want my keychain. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Lightburn. I'm going to go up to File. I'm going to go up into Import. And I'm going to look for my midwife logo. That's a JPEG. And I minimize that so you can see this is the design here. It's in a black and white. I'm going to right click on my design. I'm going to go down to trace image. You can see it highlights everything here. So I'm going to zoom in and make sure that it actually traced the outside of the logo, which it did. I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to take this one. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to click on my image, right click it, press on group, which is going to take all these parts. It's going to take it apart. It's going to ungroup your design. Then I'm going to click the outside because that is going to be the file for my template to cut my design. So I'm going to do that. I'll take the rest of this out. I can delete that. We don't need it. So as I said, my design, I want my keychain to be 1.75 wide. So I'm going to go up to width right here and change the size to 1.75 inches. Okay. Now, as it's a keychain, I do need a hole. So I'm going to do my circle here. I'm going to go up here to make sure both of the width and height match because we want it to be a perfect circle. And I like to size out my keychain holes to 0.15 inch. Can take that one, so that's sized out. I'll bring it into my keychain. I want it on this side. Then I'm going to click my whole image. I'm going to go up here to align. I'm going to hit Align H center, and you'll see that it moves that hole into the center of the keychain. Then I'm going to right click. I'm going to press Group. And we want this as a cut file now. So cut file in Lightburn is line. I'll just show you right here. So there's line, fill, fill plus line, and offset fill. We want that as line. My settings for cutting wood and what we're using here today is MDF sublimation board. So the settings are already input here. I have the 0.7 speed, 75 is my max power, and my minimum power is 70. And these are the settings I'm going to use on my 4836. So this image now is ready to be sent over. When I initially did this, before I did 100 of these at a time, so I cut multiples on my laser and I printed multiples on my sheets. But today I'm just showing you how to do the one and how to do an offset custom keychain. So that's ready to be sent to our laser. So let's head to the shop and finish up our project. Okay, so hi, now we're here in the shop. So the first step of completing this keychain, we already have our design made. We already have the template, everything sized out for our sawgrass, also the template for our MDF and Lightburn. So this is hardboard MDF, but it's actually sublimation MDF. So there's a difference. This is what you need for sublimation. So it has a film coating on the front, but we're going to keep that on because it helps decrease the residue and burn from the laser. So I'm just going to put that right into the laser. I'm going to turn it on, and then we're going to cut that template, and we'll go to the next step. So we buy these in sheets of 10 by 24, and then we just cut it to size. So we're going to move our laser up. For settings for my MDF, I'm going to use 75 powers, and the lowest is going to be 70, and I'm going to do it at 0.7 speed. So I'll bring that up, we'll kind of eyeball it, and then we're going to take our focal stick. This is used to measure the laser beam to your substrate. We'll just move that right there. And this is an important step because if you're too far away, you're not going to get a good cut. If you're too close, you're going to burn. So right there is perfect. I'm going to send our design over to the laser. We're at 0.7 speed, 75 power. I use this setting also to cut wood, so I just keep it the same. All right, so that's sent. We're going to hit File and Enter just to make sure we have the right design up on our screen. We do. So then you're going to hit Origin, and then we're going to press Frame. So that shows the surface area and where it's actually going to cut. Origin on frame. So I like to move mine as close to within the area that I can cut without wasting any material, because we don't want to do that. All right, and we'll hit start now and begin cutting. So just like that, that one's cut. You can arrange your pieces in Lightburn if you're cutting more than one. So this is our final cut piece, and we're ready to move on to the next part, which is taping it to our design. Okay, so now that we have the template cut from our Sublimation MDF, we're here now. I have my heat press. You need a heat press for sublimation. And then I also have my sawgrass printer that I'm going to use to print my design, which is already all loaded here in my printer. And then once that's printed, I'm going to show you how to then take your template, your printed design, put it together, and then use our heat press to finish the product. Okay, so now I'm going to send the design over to the printer, and it'll print out just the one design. You can also put more than one image on this page, but just for today, I'm just printing the one design just to show you how to complete that. With this printer, we're going to be using sublimation paper that's specifically made for the Sawgrass 5000. All right, so now that we have our design printed, we're going to take that out. You can see it right there. What I like to do is usually I'll just print one, and then I'll take my template that I've cut, and I'll just kind of fit it over the design just to make sure that it's not too big, not too small. Because again, this is an offset, a custom-made template, and that looks good to me. So when you're printing to sublimate onto any substrate with sublimation, you want to mirror your image. So when it's backwards to you, that means that you printed it right. So we see here that it fits good. I'm happy with that. So the next step then is to move over to our heat press. For sublimation, our heat press needs to be at 400 degrees. I've kind of played around with settings, but 400 has always been the temperature. I played around with the time. So I found with MDF, the best settings is 400 degrees, and I'm looking at about 45 to 50 seconds, which gives me the best color vibrancy. And yeah, it just works out. So that's the settings I always stuck to. So we're just waiting now for our press to heat up. And while we do that, I can actually show you how to remove the film, because like I said before I cut, there's a film on the MDF Sublimation hardboard. So I just take a little utility knife and I'm just gonna try to get the edges. It's like a tape that's on the front of it, but it just protects the board and keeps it nice and clean and residue free from the laser. So that's what it looks like. If you get a little bit of dust there, I use my sleeve. You can use a microfiber cloth, but my sleeve works fine, so that's what I'll stick to. So then the next part, I use this heat transfer tape. So you can't use any regular tape. It'll obviously melt onto your press, and you don't want to do that. So you can get this. I buy it from Amazon, and I also found this cute little tape dispenser from Amazon too. So I got 2 of those, one in each room. So moving on, we're going to take our template, put it onto our design, line it up. I have my tape here, and we're just going to tape that right to the paper. The purpose of this is because when we bring it over to our heat press, it doesn't go down this way. You actually have to flip it so the tape keeps it in place, making sure that it's not going to move and that your template stays exactly where you want it, and the design only sublimates the surface that you want it to. Also, when I'm saying I don't like to waste anything, you can also take these. Usually I did 100 of these keychains prior, so I would have printed 20 of these designs on one sheet of paper and then tape them all down and press them. That's what you can do. Just for the video purpose to show you how this works, I just printed the one. But yeah, it's best to use up as much paper area as you can. Just like when I cut my keychain, I like to get as close to the edge just so I don't waste anything. So in saying that, our press is nearly there now. All right, so now our heat press is at 400 degrees, which, like I said, is good for sublimation. I got our design here taped to the paper. I also have an extra sheet of paper, and the reason for that is, like I said, instead of putting it down this way, you're actually going to flip it so that it's like upside down, and you don't want any of that extra dye going into your heat press, because then it'll transfer to other items. So I have the pressure set. This is a clam press. You can get automatic presses. Mine is a clam press, so that means it's automatic. There's more pressure in the back than there is in the front, so I'm just going to put it right to the middle. With mine, you turn right, the pressure gets harder. You turn left, it gets looser. For any sublimation, you want the pressure to be firm. So I usually try to do a little test. If it's hard to press down, I know that it's too much pressure there, so I will loosen it a little bit. And like I said, now I have it set at 400 degrees. We're going to press for 45 seconds. So there. So this press will automatically pop up on its own. The only downfall to this press is that if you don't remember to turn it off, it does not time it, which can be a bit of a fire hazard. So my husband always makes me send him a picture to ensure that I turned it off, because I have actually left it on overnight sometimes, which can be kind of dangerous. This one is the 600, I believe, 1600 volt. It's a good size for me. I use it for clothing and keychains, all of my sublimation purposes, plus my direct to fabric, which we will bring in maybe in another video. So like I said, this one will pop up on its own. This is very hot, so you want to be careful. I'll show you quickly the bottom of the paper, why you need something on the bottom when you're sublimating. So you can see there's some ink transfer there. You don't want that going into your press. So here is our design. Just let that cool down a little bit. And take that off. We'll peel off the tape. And we have a custom, very unique keychain made for the midwifery, the Innu midwifery program, cut exactly to the shape of their design. You can't buy that in any store. All right, so here's our finished design. You can see how nice and vibrant those colors are. And the last part is just to put our keychain ring on. And I use my trusty pliers that I got from the dollar store. It just helps to save my nails, especially when I'm doing a whole lot of these. And also avoids chipping because remember, this is MDF sublimation hardboard. It's not the most durable, but in large quantities and when you're trying to fit into a good budget, it works perfectly. So there we go. So now that you've watched that tutorial on how to make a custom keychain, I hope that you feel comfortable enough to try it yourself. Having a laser really opened up the opportunity for me to do the custom shapes, and I'd really like to see you try it too. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll try my best to help you. And if you like this content, to come back, maybe consider subscribing because we'll be back weekly with new content just like this to help you grow your business too. Thanks for watching and see you next time.